Caplan?
Let's say I once saw a video of Churchill speaking in Congress. They showed it to me. I think it was black and white. They didn't have colored television in those days. And it was during the war, I think it was. And he spoke there. And he said instead of saying I was thinking, he said I was reflecting. I remember that. And he said, then he waved his hand and he said, and Mussolini, as if like, who is he to be a mandama in the world? So somebody would get up in front of Congress and speak, or Netanyahu not long ago. He went especially to America and he spoke about Iran having the nuclear bomb, and he spoke in front of Congress, and the whole world was watching it. I mean, millions of people were looking at it. And then he's gonna forget, what did I say over there? You can't forget such a thing. This was a special thing. The whole world was waiting for this. The whole world wanted to hear. What's he gonna say? Like I think I heard part of it. Didn't sound like he said too much. Did you hear it?
No.
I don't think he said too much, but okay. But it was something. There was a whole talk in the world. Is he gonna speak? Should he speak? Should he not speak? I mean, I have my own opinion. I think I'm a little bit of Ben Chorin. That I think they should never talk about the whole subject. That let the goyim kill one another and do what they want, and they're gonna. And we have a special avtocho bar TNT Plater. And we don't have what to worry about. Don't mix in. Let the goyim do what they want. Don't talk about it. Don't mix in. Don't be misgorabumos. That's my opinion, because I think I'm a little bit, I have a negia to being a Ben Chorin. But that's only derech agev. I'm not going to get off this subject. But how could you forget such thing that it says, I'm asking, you're standing in front of holy Tinokus Shabes Rabbin and you're speaking to, I'm not saying, not having, it's very, very hard for us to be ma'or in ourselves feelings of how great the Maimad is. It is hard, and I can be Melamed Chus and understand that he forgot. But what should be is a person should be ma'or himself. A person should prepare, when a person stands in front of Tinokus Shabes Rabbin, he should be much, much more prepared than Netanyahu was when he stood in front of the Congress and spoke about the Iranians going nuclear. Much, much more. Do you know what? Everything you say over there can make an impression. And everything you say over there, they can remember years and years later. And every ziyuf that you show, every thing you say which is not real, they'll pick it up. They might not understand what they're picking up, but they'll see that, and years later they might come and say, yeah, some rabbi spoke, he wasn't really prepared, he wasn't really serious about what he was saying, and who knows what influence that could have. Much more you should be prepared. I mean, you have to get up in front of the children and speak and show that you're excited, that you really feel it, that you really feel that Matan Torah is coming, that something big is happening in the world, some change is happening in the world. The Torah is being given in Tavshinayin Vov, Tavshinayin Dalet, Tavshinayin Hey, I think it was. And then instead he gives, and then the next year he comes and says the same thing again. The Chazal say, Kishem Shein Patzufim Shovin, Kach Ein Deus Shem Shovin. You have your original Matan Torah. The problem is you have to find it, and that's the problem. And this reminds me of a few lines that I saw many years ago, and I have it here in front of me, of the Ramchal in the Sefer, in the Kuntris called Derech Eitz Chaim, which is printed in the end of the Mesilas Yesharim. And the Ramchal says that the Torah was nimshal to eish, to fire. That just like he says, you see a coal which is not blown up. So the spark inside of it is hidden inside that coal. But when you blow on it, it blows up. It could become a flame. It could become a fire, a big fire. From that little coal, that little spark. Same thing as the Torah. Every word, every letter is like a coal. And it looks like a small spark. You can hardly see it. But if you learn it and you're osik in it, so every word, every letter will flame up and it'll become a big flame. That's what the Ramchal said. That's how we have to look at every piece of Torah. You take a simple thing that we know for years and years. Let's say today's parsha starts off Ben Sarah Mora. We say Nidon al Shem Sofu. We judge him because of what's going to happen in the end. Everybody knows that every year we go over it again and again. And the same thing, every parsha, especially the beginnings of the parsha, are so known, yet it's not like that. You have to take dafka, and I always say, to prepare for the Shabbos table, something that requires preparation. And preparation doesn't mean look for a word in a certain sefer and just say it over. It says in this and this sefer, this and this and this, and you say it, and then they say Yashikach, Yashikach, thanks for talking, thanks for finishing, and you go back to talk about cars and about food and about politics and about the world. No, the same. You don't just take something from a sefer and say it over. You have to take that same thing that everybody knows. Every year we know it, and think about it, and meditate on it, and go over again and again. And then say it over at the Shabbos table, and you'll see it'll be ma'orah. Everybody will feel that you're saying something, and it'll awaken everybody sitting there. And I always try to, I like to say over the second letter of the Chazanish, in the Igros Chazanish, he says that when you're Omer B'Torah, so he says after the Omer, after working on it, Niftach Shar Orach Chodosh, a new gate of light opens up. The seichel enjoys, feels pleasure without end. And the Chazanish says in that letter, to chazer over on the spot many times. Take something. And this is what I'm saying. The big problem is, and the big difficulty is, person wants to be original, and he tries, but you don't know how do you be original. How do you do it? And the answer is it has to be natural. You can't just come along and say, okay, let's be original, let's say something crazy. Let's say that you're allowed to drive a car on Shabbos because it's only a groma. Oh, wow, how original I am. I said something original. Man, lozu out there. You don't try to be original. You have to be aware that there is such a thing. And you have to be aware that you have a special neshama, and you have a special das, and nobody else has it, and nobody else ever had it from Bria Olam till now. But you can't force it. We always used to call it kfiyati, miloshin kfiya. You can't use force, but you have to do a pu'ula that's called yigir, like the Chazanish said. An example of Hikia is to take the thing and say it over a few times to yourself. But and I always say this, and I keep saying this over again. And there was once a story on Nilas Harag of Shvi Shel Pesach, which was Erev Shabbos. I was sitting in a group of people with said something, and I also said something. So I said a whole thing about how you have to connect to the Yom Tov b'machshava, that the machshava connects you. And then this leader of the group, he said to me, "You're always saying the same message." The answer is, yeah, true. I'm always saying the same message, and what I'm saying tonight is also, I think I said this many times. But first of all, I say it many times because I'm excited about it, and I feel it. I think it's so important that we should say it many times, and we should always remind ourselves about it. Second of all, if you don't say it many times, it's not going to go in the message. When you're just saying a word, then you can say it one time. But when you're saying a message that you want to teach people what to do, you can't just say it one time. It's not going to go in. You have to say it many times. And this message, I think I said it many times, and I'm going to say it again now. With Omo and Yigiyah, and I'm giving you an example of what Omo and Yigiyah is from that second letter in the Igros Chazon Ish of chazing over and over again. But I'm adding, not just to chaz over again, but I used to go to a certain person, his name was Reb Shlomo Man. He's in the Olam HaEmes now. And he told me to take the thing apart, detail by detail, piece by piece. He said, never approach something and assume, I know it. I know it. Always approach things as if I don't know it. And look at all sides of the thing. You have a glass sitting on the table. Say to yourself, what is this? Don't just say, yeah, it's a glass, you drink out of it. No. Start looking at every angle of it. The glass is round. Let's think a minute. Why does it have to be round? Why can't it be square? And maybe the answer is because then when you put it in your mouth, it'll spill from the sides. And then you can ask again, so make a special place to put the mouth in, like a curve. And then the rest make square. Why don't you make it like that? No, so you already have what to think about. It's not simple. Not as simple as you think. And then there's also other things you could start thinking. Why is it this high and why is it that high? And why does it need a handle? And what is it made out of? And why do they make it out of glass? Why not make it out of clay? And what's cheaper, what's more expensive? And there are a lot of different details about the thing that you could talk about. The same thing is by Torah, the same thing. And everything is like that. And it might sound like it's so simple, such simple things I'm going to talk about, I'm going to think about. No, that's where chidushim come from. And Reb Shlomo Man told me that that's what he have said, V'chochma me'ayin timotzei. Chochma comes from ayin, comes from nothingness. You approach something with an ayin. I don't know anything. I'm starting from Aleph Beit. Yeah, I'm starting with the things that are poshut, and not like some person that I know that he got irritated. It's poshut. What are you saying? It? No. Start chazering to yourself the poshut, the things, the poshut, the details, the poshut, the parts of the thing, and do it a few times. You'll see. And even if you won't think of anything new, you'll say it over afterwards. Yeah, the same drasha you said last year. You'll say it with a new islavus, a new excitement, a new depth. And those that hear it will feel that. Now, I don't know if a child is able to express this, but I think that if that
Rabbi Caplan, Rabbi Caplan, we're taking a break now. Thank you.